Profits is proud to be sponsored by Game of Silks. Go to silks.io to get in the game. Real ownership, real races, real rewards.
That's right. Welcome back. This is Doubling Down with Colin Sheehan. We had 3 episodes last week, having 4 preps. We were very busy. If you put the last 3 weeks together, either myself or my guest has hit. So we're on a 3-week streak of winning tickets. My guest this week has a lot of pressure to keep that going, and we're going to welcome in the sniper, Barry Spears, here in a moment. Please check out Game of Silks at silks.io. Big news coming out on Friday, February 9th on Spaces. So if you're watching this prior to 6 o'clock, be sure to tune in there on Twitter. They're going to announce a lot of the rules. A very exciting time for the game, not only for those that have 3-year-olds as we go through this Kentucky Derby season, but now you're going to find out what the rules are for the 2-year-olds this year for years going forward. So very exciting. If you're watching this after Friday, then check out Hot Dog on YouTube. He's got a video explaining some of the news that came out, and stay tuned right here because we will be covering it for sure. As I mentioned, this is Doubling Down. We've only got 1 prep this week. We're going to Tampa Bay Downs. Let's hit another ticket. That's it. I love this time of season because I get to go around the country, and I have some of my friends that I tune into in different parts, right? So last week we went to New York, and I got to bring old friend Matt DeSantis on. Now when we go to Oakland, we got Matt Dinnerman back on. And when we go to Tampa Bay, I always check in with the sniper, my fellow Bostonian from many years ago. Barry, what's happening? Good to see you again.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me back. This is so much fun. Just kind of maintaining, looking at the Derby Trail heating up, and these next couple weeks will be really fun.
Yeah, and before we dive into what's to come, I'd love to hear, last weekend was big with the 4 preps, Fierceness Falling and Uncle Heavy, Mystic Dan. Did you gather anything? Did you walk away from last weekend with further information on how you're going to be moving forward with this trail?
Not really. I mean, one thing I did think that Fierceness kind of ran better than what it looked like, and I don't think he was kind of at his peak. They
No,
want to be
I
at their
hope not.
best in May. Right, exactly. So, I'm willing to forgive that effort. People might not be, but other than that, the horse that's not going to be in the Derby probably looked the best.
Yeah, but what I think it does do is open the door, right? I mean, I think it makes it even more interesting. I love when the horses like, Forte, we didn't have that last
Mm-hmm.
year, but when they falter, it just opens up this, okay, well, now I can take a shot here. And is Fierceness this inconsistent horse from what we've seen in the Champagne and then obviously in the Juvenile, 2 very distinct, different races. I own 10% of Locked in the Game of Silks.
Oh, nice.
I lucked out and hit the lottery. So for me, I'm sitting here going, all right, Fierceness can be beat. Nisos isn't going to be there. Nisos isn't going to be there. Unfortunately for us, though, as we look at the Sam Davis this weekend, that I was all jacked up. I mean, my blood's been pumping, and then we're not going to see Locked. And now, as an owner of Silks, you start to feel like that disappointment. And okay, where are we going next? And it's definitely a fun part of the game, and I'm excited now to see we're not just going to be behind Fierceness, and Locked, I think, is now a legit threat. And we'll see when he does come back on the trail. You know the deal. We're going to go with a daily double here for Saturday. We'll do the race prior to the Sam Davis. So stick around because we're going to get Barry's thoughts on the Kentucky Derby prep race, the Samuel F. Davis at Tampa Bay. We're going to start at race 9, though. We're going a mile and the 16th on the turf. We're running maidens here, maiden special weight for 53,000. Barry, where'd you end up?
Well, there's 3 horses that I do like in this race. I ended up on the 1, the 6, and the 10. The 1, Stents and Statins. Chad Brown horse. Usually they improve quite a bit second time out. This has been laid up for a while, getting Lasix for the first time. Kind of fits the profile of a typical live Chad Brown horse. Our Prayer is a first time starter out of Catholic Boy, and the on his dam side, his dam is Sisterhood. Um, she really wasn't that great of a turf horse, but this horse is half to Be My Sunshine, who's a pretty good turf router. And I think this one merits a good shot first time out for Graham Motion, even though his numbers aren't that great first time out, especially going long on the turf. It's very difficult to do as a first time starter. And then I threw in a long bomb here, the 10, She's So Sexy. I thought this horse ran better than what it looked like on paper the first two times at Tampa. Um, kind of was stuck on the outside like she's going to be again, but I think the horse learned something the last time, and getting a different rider, different trainer. Gerald Bennett's one of the best in the business, claiming wise. So I think I'll give that one a shot over the big guns of Mott and Chad Brown in this race.
Yeah, I agree with you on the one. That was kind of a defensive play for me. I landed on the 5 and the 8, so I went 1-5-8. But I want to go back to our prayer number 6, because this is a main special weight for our viewers that are new, and some of you have 4 starters here that haven't raced before. And I have some kind of strict rules when I look at races when you have a mix between horses that have raced before, horses that haven't, especially horses maybe that are coming back for the second time, because horses learn so much in that first race. So you can expect an improvement many times off of a horse running in their first race. And if that first race, the Brisnet gives you a power number, this power speed here is a 74. The number 1 ran a 68. You can expect an increase off of that one, and that's going to put the horse there. But for first-time starters, if I'm going to accept a first-time starter in the maiden special weight, there's 2 or 3 things that I immediately look at. You mentioned the first one, right, which was how the trainer is with first-time starters. I want a trainer that's hitting at least 12% for first-time starters. And then I want, on the sire side, a sire that hits on 12% for first-time starters. And that's not just an arbitrary number. That is the number I pulled from Matt Quinn's The Complete Handicapper. And it's just a rule that's the first thing I do when I go through past performances. If I see a number beneath 12 for trainer and sire first time, I just mark it red, and I'll accept if one of those is not 12, but if they're both not 12, I don't come around, and it'll be interested to see. This is something I'll absolutely pay attention to with what you said with Sisterhood, and that was the reason that I went against the 6, right? But I'm using the 5, who is a first time starter. Shug, 13% hitting. The sire, Constitution, 12% hitting for 15% on the turf. And what I love about this horse, look how many works this horse has had. This horse has just been working and working and working since basically November. Has gate works, including 2 of them at 48 seconds. And I'm hoping that the combination of how it almost feels like this is a specific spot that they pointed this horse for based on all of these workouts. So that's why I decided to use the 5, Bell of Rights. And then the 8, Gossip Ear. Going back a little bit, what I said, this horse put up a 75 Brisnet speed figure at Gulfstream Park, going a mile in the 16th, finished 6th. I think you're going to get, 9 to 2s. I'm not crazy about that in this type of race. But Gossip Ear with Junior Alvarado for Bill Mott is 2 that a combination that I'm okay taking a little bit better of a price on. So I decided to go with the 158. Is there anybody on this list that maybe you're concerned of that's not on your ticket to knock you out?
I thought the 3 might merit a pretty decent chance. That one's been working quite a while too. Most recently at Tampa, has quite a few works at Tampa, but yeah, that one costs a lot of money, $350K. I don't think that horse is a secret, but that's one I'm kind of concerned with that I didn't put on the ticket.
Yeah, and I highlighted the sire, Good Magic there. That's one that always stands out to me with the success that horse has had, although it's only 7% on first-time starters. Let's move on to the marquee race for Saturday at Gulfstream Park. Here are the horses, and here are their owners in the Game of Silks. Obviously, we're sponsored by Game of Silks, so you've got some horses here, some owners here with quite a bit of the field covered. Of course, as I mentioned, Locked is out of the race, who spiked a temperature out of the Todd Pletcher barn, and they bring in Agate Road. For me, Barry, Agate Road is just too much of like it's the afterthought and locks out. So let's put the horse in. And Agate Road's actually been running on the turf. So bringing him back to the dirt after he had run on the dirt in the first time. The sibling Gasoline was actually good on the dirt for the dam, out of the damn yellow Agate. But I couldn't find myself landing on this horse at 7-2. Were you kind of in the same boat?
Absolutely. I just doesn't feel right. This horse looked like a legitimate turf horse until, they want to run him on on the dirt this time. His dirt race wasn't very good at all. So I mean, I'm sure he's improved since then, but I don't know if this horse can handle, this kind of class on the dirt.
I had a really hard time landing on some horses in this race. I think you have a pretty competitive, and you could go multitude of angles. And what I found interesting was you have a lot of horses here who like two back, put up their top vig, and then came back and, we'll call it like bounced. Like their last race, the speed figures certainly took that dip. And now you're looking for them to who's going to step forward and what reasons can you find maybe that they had that dip last time out. And I also wrote down that all of these horses kind of want the lead. I mean, it will give you the Brisnet speed figures here. Look at this. It's just EP down the line and lots of 5, 6, and 8s. I have a feeling that speed is a reason you landed on one of your horses. Where did you ultimately end up?
So I ended up taking number 7, Copper Tex, and number 11, Fulmineo. And Fulmineo is horse I like quite a bit in this spot. I think the last race he had, it was at Tampa in a similar race with Crazy Mason, who's also in this race. Ran really well from a tough post. Again, gets another tough post this time, but I think that race kind of set this one up. The horse was kind of short that day and probably got a lot out of that race. So I think this one merits a good chance in a race that seems kind of wide open. I would never take a favorite in a race like this because there's just too many options, too many horses that can improve. Really, none of these horses would surprise me if they won. I mean, the entire field. So if that does happen, that'll be cool. But the other is Copper Tax. I think you can throw out that race at Aqueduct. That surface is really, really deep and like quicksand. And if horses don't take to it, it looks bad on their resume. So you put a line through that one, and Copper Tax is right here with the best of them. Learned to rate that time before at Laurel in the 6 furlong race. So that was probably good experience for this nice stretch out here. So I think that one's dangerous in this spot.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I have Copper Tax on my ticket. You mentioned a little bit about Aqueduct, but don't forget the speed is what has been winning at Aqueduct.
Mm-hmm.
So not only, and so this horse was trying to come from off of it on that day, was bumped, was 6 wide, had a little bit of trouble at the start. So all kinds of excuses to, like you said, draw a line through that race at Aqueduct. And the speed figures in the 5 races that he, just wheeled off 5 victories. That's nothing to sneeze at. I think that's absolutely a reason that you could put a 5-1 Copper Tax on your ticket. I like the 3 Patriot Spirit. And I know that the one race at a mile, if you're looking strictly at the past performances, that was in the Iroquois, 2 West Saratoga and Risk It in here. If you're kind of basing the fact on the distance of can this horse get the mile in the 16th here based on that race, you may say this horse is a sprinter and kind of write him off. I'm kind of going off of a little bit of what I saw and read from Campbell, the trainer, about this horse who they put him out for a half-mile workout and they were pulling him up and he got a horse in his eye.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm not stopping. And he ended up working another 4 furlongs that day. But it was more about the competitive spirit of Patriot Spirit. They said this horse is he's a mean one, and he's going to go and he's going to be aggressive, and he's going to want to go get it, and he's going to want to run. I love hearing that. And of course, it's coming from the trainer, and you got to look through that a little bit. But I think he's also the speed of the speed. I mentioned a lot of the speed that is in here, at least based on the figures. I absolutely think he can get on the front end here. And so now I've got a horse who I think can close well, like you said, in Copper Tax, who showed the ability to rate. I got a horse that I love to hear what the trainer's saying about him and can be on the front end. And then I did go back to the well with West Saratoga, a horse that I had a very nice score on in the Iroquois. That was my choice that day. He's always there. I mean, he's 6 for 8 in the money. This is going to be second off the layoff for him, so maybe you can put a line through that last race behind Bookham Dano, but Bookham Dano is going to the Saudi, I believe, so nothing to sneeze at there for maybe the competition that he was beat on that day. And you're getting 8-1. You had mentioned you wouldn't take a short price in here. I think 8-1 on a horse like West Saratoga is actually pretty good. Like you said, it's pretty wide open. So you're getting a consistent horse who actually has a grade 3 victory coming into a grade 3 race. Did West Saratoga pique your interest at all?
No, I thought that West Saratoga, the 2 races that he won were really dressed up where, he had perfect trips. And if he doesn't get that kind of trip, he can't win this kind of race. He'd have to beat up on a little bit lesser competition unless he gets that, absolute tip-top perfect trip. The first time, his maiden, when he was just out in front and nobody even challenged him. The second time, he kind of sat behind a pretty quick pace and kind of launched and warmed down. And then after that, kind of got in a little bit of trouble, couldn't recover, and then got blown out last time by Bookham Dano, which, you really don't know what to make of that race. So he's interesting, to say the least.
It's okay. You don't have to be nice to me because I picked him. You can tell me.
No, he's interesting. I just wouldn't. I'm not really inclined to bet horses like that. I just thought that his 2 races that he won were really good setups.
And then lastly, change of command. Your 3-1 morning line gets Tyler Gaffalione aboard. This is the Shug horse who has won the last 2 races, and then they decided to make equipment change, something that you don't really see often. Was change of command anyone that you were intrigued by?
Yeah, he's a tough read here. The only thing that I don't like is his price. He's probably going to be short. There's no guarantees he can handle this competition, especially first time. Kind of, going into a stakes race. This is a tough spot from a tough post too. So we'll see. I mean, he definitely can be good enough. He looks talented enough to compete. So we'll get a good look at him.
Yeah, you wonder if he's going to want to be on the lead and being on the 9 post with all that speed to the inside at the lower price. Those are kind of the reasons that I had decided to move off. I've started to drink Sherbet coffee. They sent it over and I love it. So I told them I'd give them a little love here, and this will be our Sherbet. This will be our Sherbet sniper. I'm going to go 158 with the 3-7-10. That'll cost me $9. You're going to go 1-6-10 with the 7 and 11. You're going to be at the track on Saturday?
Yes, I am. I'll be there pretty much all day. So
Are you giving teaching classes again?
No. If anybody's out there in the Tampa area, come out, say hello. I'll be around for sure.
And where can we find your content these days? I know you and Chuck got a new website. Give us a tout on it.
Yep, it's racinghub.com. We're doing a little bit of sports writing too, in addition to the horse racing. We'll do picks every now and then, especially for the big days. Has some guest writers on and stuff. So we're gonna ramp up a lot of that content. Do some videos. I'm gonna do some videos this weekend. So we're gonna have some fun with it, and then we always have our podcast on Monday, the Big Monday show. So yeah, things are good.
We got to ask your pick then. Who's winning the Super Bowl Sunday?
I don't like either team, to be honest, but if I have to pick, I would say Kansas City.
I'd agree. I'm
a Swiftie. I'm a Swiftie.
Well, I'm more of I can understand why everyone hated the Patriots and Tom Brady back in the day when we were winning everything, because now you're watching a quarterback like Mahomes and you're kind of sick of him, but at the same time, I have that appreciation for what it takes, and seeing what he's done so quickly, you kind of want to keep that going. And I'm interested. I think Kansas City could be the pick as well. Although be careful with San Francisco wanting revenge, because remember we get a matchup of a couple years ago, and you don't want to underestimate underestimate that. Thanks so much for joining us again. We got the pressure of trying to keep this streak going, looking for 4 weeks. I'm Colin Sheehan. He's Barry Spears. Check him out, Urban Handicapper on your X. Until next time, have a good day.